this action, a little of this action, and let's blast over to the old infamous desktop. Tabletop Simulator Table of Love. Here we go. So, sticking with the winter theme, I decided to let's blast over to the old right monitor and check out a little bit of Santa action I got going on over there. Dice Grimorium has been pumping out some seriously wicked maps. Like this is an amazing looking map, and this one here is free. It's a public version on thin ice, 24 by 36 public. The editions that I subscribe to don't have grid lines, which is what I prefer, but I can't really use them because it's copyright material, right? So it's just sticking with the free stuff that he pumps out. It's going to have grids. It'll be a little sloppy, but still looks really good when it's all said and done. It confines you from producing or being easily able to manipulate the scale of what you're trying to work with here. So between that and the Paperforge Minis, which is the other deal that I got going on here, I'll be using this guy, the Chameleon Chieftain, and the Chameleon Folk Warrior guy. And yeah, so let's get back over to the TTS table. And man, I got a lot of people walking around my house smashing doors and doing things today. Kick on this bad boy. So this map is called On Thin Ice. Let me crank off the sleigh bell so that doesn't get extremely annoying. And we're going to smash the old build button. Let this thing populate itself. And then this is what we end up with. A wicked looking little winter sort of combat map we got going on here with an ice. Now, I had a couple ideas for this. First off, thanks for all the people that have recently subscribed. Welcome aboard. This is the goofy stuff that I do. I like to create battle maps inside a tabletop simulator for use in not only my games, but I make them available so everybody can play with them. If you like what you see, subscribe to the channel. For those of you that have already done that, thank you very much. This is the map. You can actually also check out. You'll see that it says the Murder Hobo Show. I don't know if some of you are aware, but I have a podcast that I do with my buddy Uncle Jay. I've been doing that for some time now. Me and Victor Diaz started it off with some Savage Riffs and ICRPG, which is generally what I play. Savage Worlds, ICRPG, Dungeons and Dragons, all that kind of stuff. Those are sort of my favorite deals. But so my idea for this map is I'm going to have my party, my crew down here. Let me zoom in on my crew. I got Shawanda and I got Artemis and Trary from Dritsteward. We got Womgart and Smash Helda. They've been hired by some local villagers to take care of a menace. Somehow, over the course of the last little while, this water kraken, well, it's let's call it a kraken, but you can sort of name it whatever you want. This little beast has started getting too big for its britches. So these folks at this fishing village have decided to hire you and send you out here to try and take care of this thing. It's starting to impact their food supply, being that it's winter. Sometimes they come out and do a little ice fishing and whatnot. And they constantly, their little villagers are getting snacked on by this gigantic ass little lake beast of your calling. So the gist of it is that, well, it's thin ice. So I put on these little cutouts over here. You can see that they don't really match up, but still it's just, who cares? It's your players, it's flavor. And the idea would be that in order to get to the beast near the back, your players are going to have to sort of like make dexterity jumps from block to block. Meanwhile, they're going to be fighting these tentacles. So Shawanda's going to make her dex check to see if she can take like a running leap onto this block right here. Kaboom. If she fails, she lands on thin ice, and then you can just determine maybe there's a 50% chance that she cracks and falls in. Now, if you're playing Savage Worlds, which is pretty sweet, you have the option of fatiguing your characters, which you can do in Dungeons & Dragons as well. So that's kind of a sort of a neat little twist to it. She lands on this thing, maybe she doesn't. She lands on thin ice. There's a chance it cracks. She goes under. I wouldn't actually have my players like drown in this kind of a map, but she can drag herself back onto the little ice sheet kind of a thing here. And then I'm going to say maybe it's like a one at a time deal. Artemis can't jump onto this piece until Shawanda makes the jump off to the next one. So this guy, maybe this little lake beast here, he's too far back in the corner for ranged attacks. So yeah, you know, the only way to get to him is to jump across these little ice things. Your arrows fall short into the drink, or they by the time they hit him, they're just not doing enough damage to take him out. So as Shawanda makes her way across the map, slashing and cutting through the terrible tentacles that are sticking up out of the water, trying to drag her under and drown her and attack her and smack her and crack her, the rest of the party's going to have to sort of make their way onto the ice, and then that's the gist. I would say that probably what I should do is Control-C, Control-V. Let's put this piece. Wow, what are you doing, piece? Getting a little crazy on me there. Let's move this, I want to say probably something like this. And then we're going to lock this in place. We're going to F8 this bad boy, which puts me to moving it, and we're going to move this piece right up in front of our creature so that they have a place to go to, kind of a thing, an end point, so to speak. But here's where things get McNasty. You see, unbeknownst to Womgart, Smashelda, Shawanda, and Artemis, the locals, the local little water lizard crew, they don't want you coming down here and taking out their god, their lake god of the lake, kind of a deal. So yeah. The tribe of the chameleon folk here, the little lake lizards, Barry, we got Harry, we got Gary. This here's Larry up on the rock, and we got Jerry in the back corner. And then here's Terry, the tribal leader, right back here, giving the orders, making sure that the spears are thrown in accordance with tribal law. And as you're trying to take out the tentacles and make your way over here, maybe all of a sudden these guys pop out of the bush, and you got yourself a regular old-fashioned spear-chucking lake lizard ambush going on. These guys come from the back there. Gary comes up here, a little karate chop right to the throat, kind of a thing. Maybe he's like a spear tip to the nard hole, and yeah, before you know it, you're bleeding from your crotch area. Womgart, he's taken by surprise, turns around, and maybe he goes in and attacks and stays back and crushes these guys with Smashelda, while the other two take off across the little ice pads here and try and kill this crazy lizard beast, or this crazy lake beast. That's just one idea that I came up with while I was building this thing. But it turned out not too shabby. I like the lighter color of the little frozen lake area. And then the rocks for the cliff face and stuff like that are a little bit bigger. I threw these rocks down here so that you wouldn't notice the splits. Let's see if I do. If I pull this out, this is 2.02, so I just got to remember that as I lift it up. See how it kind of looks a little wonky in there? I didn't want that. So what I did is I just dropped a rock in there so that the rock sort of covers up that little bit of a mess, right? And then I put another one beside it over here, sort of to do the same thing in this little area. It covers up the ramps that I built. So this map will be available. I'll throw it up on the table for everybody to enjoy over the festive winter season. But I can't do much about the minis. You're on your own when it comes to what the lake beast is going to be, your party minis, and Terry, the tribal leader. He's an absolute no-no as well. These are, if you're interested in these, again, these are, good old Santa popping back up there. These are paper forged minis that I use. One of the cool parts about them, let me do a thing here quickly. One of the cool parts about them is if we go to paper miniatures, you'll see I have a crap ton of paper miniatures because I am a massive paper miniature fan. But we want to go to Paperforge Minis and go to Cut Files. We'll scroll down to the bottom. And on the bottom of this screen, you're going to see the Elder. Here's the Chieftain cut file. So this comes with the Silhouette Studio. So you can easily just, once you get these things, you can print them out. Actually, I'll do a couple of things here while we end this up. This is the cool part about this, is that these are just easily drag and droppable into the file that I use in GIMP. Just got to drag them in, resize them, and then when I export them, there's videos that you can see that where I'm doing this if you just skim through the channel. But here's what the cut file looks like when I pop this sucker open. I'll move this over here. This is Silhouette Studio. Alt allows you to zoom in. And then these are the guys that I like to use. So you can see them. The lines are already put in. The little pieces that are going to be cut out are already drawn. The one thing that I would do, or I like to do, is I like to put in lines. But I like to put in my lines that have dots, not straight lines. So you want to use something like this over here. And then what you do is you just sort of come over here and you zoom in a little bit. And you're going to put a cut line right from here, right along this green line. Holding down Shift will make straight lines. And that's all I'm doing. And then what happens when I drag it onto the cutting surface, or what I do this usually when it's on the cutting surface. But you can, it's a little bit of work to zoom out. Grab my mouse pointer, grab all of these guys, drag them onto my paper, and let's say I want to drag this guy. Oh, I see my cut line is not there. That's okay. This thing can get deleted. We don't really need it. But here's a cool feature. You can take this thing, and let's say I want to make them different sizes. It's just that simple. This chieftain's going to be bigger than that, and that's all there is to it, to sizing paper miniatures and stuff like that. But you can get Paperforge does Paperforge Minis, does cut files, so you can get the guy's artwork and actually make like real, physical copies for your table. And not only that, added bonus, you can also use them in your tabletop simulator games, which is freaking fantastic. So that guy is the chieftain, and then here's the chieftain in the game. So I get multiple uses out of them. I can use them in real life if I need to print them off and play like a physical game. Or I can use them as, they're not quite three-dimensional. They're sort of two-dimensional minis in Tabletop Simulator. Yeah, works like a hot damn. Love it. Fantastic stuff. Anyways, that's it for this one. Thanks for the subscriptions, the subscribers. Welcome aboard. And this is what's happening. This is what I do. Cool. All right. Peace out, everybody.